Welcome back, dear listeners, to another powerful episode of Healthy Mind, Healthy Life, the podcast where we dive deep into the stories of transformation, resilience, and rediscovering the power within. I'm your host, Avik, and today's conversation is one that will strike a chord with anyone who's ever felt silenced, unseen, or hidden behind someone else's story. And dear listeners, my guest today is, please welcome Racheal Blackmore. So welcome to the show.
Thank you, Avik. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk about this and excited to be on Healthy Mind, Healthy Life. It's a privilege.
Amazing, amazing. So, uh, and dear listeners, like before we delve deep into the discussion, I'd quickly love to introduce you with Racheal. So Racheal has one of the most fascinating journeys I have come across. Yes. So she's a certified interrogator, trained journalist, and the former editor-in-chief who spent over 14 years helping creators uncover their deepest truths through words. Yep. But here's the twist, dear listeners. Like, while she was helping others find their voices, she had lost her own. Yeah. An abusive survivor who, uh, an abuse survivor who literally uh, disappeared into ghostwriting, and Rachel found safety in invisibility until she realized that the same silence that once protected her was now holding her back. So today, she helps entrepreneurs break free from that silence, find their authentic voice, and create connection that truly converts. So, this episode is about the voice, visibility, and the courage it takes to be seen. So I'll not take much of your time, dear listeners. And Rachel, welcome to Healthy Mind, Healthy Life. It's really such an honor to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you again.
Lovely. So Rachel, would love to definitely talk about the turning point. So you have said that something that stopped me in my tracks. I literally disappeared into other people's voices because telling their stories was easier than recognizing I had my own. So, if you can take us back to that moment of realization, like when did you first understand that the silence you once needed for the survival had become a barrier to your own truth?
Sure. Yeah. So it is something that I think is familiar to a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of creators, and especially people who are in this creator journey where we are producing content for for ourselves. Even now, with
Mm.
the age of AI and templates and things, we can still hide in an age of sort of forced vulnerability, which is what I think
Yeah.
that we're in right now. And for me, it became apparent that I was in a marriage and in a situation where I I found my outlet in other people's stories, and I found that I was very good. I started learning copywriting and I started ghostwriting, and I found that I was really good at script writing and scripting other people's both emotional journey and business journey and all of the things, and sort of took pride in my ability to say, well, I only work with, a few entrepreneurs. I only work with a few creators, and I am on the back end. I would be so excited. Sometimes I would share with my kids or a close friend and say, hey, did you see this on Facebook? Did you see that video? Did you see that book that just came out? Like, I wrote that. Don't We can't tell anyone, but I wrote
Mm.
that. And that's all I needed to feel like I wasn't as stuck as I really was. I was sort of just, um, keeping myself in this safe space of I am accomplishing something, but I'm not taking any risks in doing it myself and being forward facing to an audience. And um, it was 3 years ago in 2022, I, left for a final time and found freedom and healing from that relationship, found other other support in that. And so for the last 3 years, I have very slowly become this voice that says, it's okay that you're hiding behind someone else's
Mm.
template, someone else's story, someone else's framework. But if you really want to make the impact that you know that you want to make and you want to connect with those people, then here are some ways to start making those steps to just sort of poke your head out there just a little bit, and when you're ready, do it again and do it again and break free from all of these templated emoting sort of, content that we're in this space. So that empowerment of just saying, you don't have to. I'm not saying push yourself off the cliff and do it all at once. I'm not saying, to that we have to just come out into the world and say, this is my story and leave yourself that vulnerable. But especially now in the world of AI and so many templates and so many frameworks and so many courses that are producing this false vulnerability and really
Mm.
pushing that narrative, it's become more and more important to connect through real your real story and own that, and just working with creators to feel comfortable, trying to
Mm.
move forward in it.
Lovely. I mean, that's incredibly powerful because, I mean, what you are describing reminds me like how healing often um, begins with the smallest act of defense and
Mhm,
uh, like choosing to be seen.
mhm,
And yet, like for many of the survivors, visibility feels like kind of exposure and not
mhm,
the empowerment. So, yeah, definitely. And so like you have also spoken about openly about like how trauma teaches us to disappear,
mhm,
to blend in, to make ourselves small.
mhm.
So um why do you think that so many heart-led entrepreneurs, especially those who have faced the pain or rejection, struggle with their being visible? What do you think?
Mhm. Yeah, I was just talking, last night, in fact, with somebody that I've, worked with who is an accomplished she's a fantastic first of all, just a fantastic person, but she's, running, her own ads agency, as the CEO and has been for,
Mm.
with multi-million dollar ad spend in,
Yeah.
lots of different clients, for God, I wanna say maybe 8 years, and I've been working with her, writing for her clients and things for about 5 years, and she was just talking with me yesterday about how much anxiety she feels as she is about to launch at the new year, this new offer that requires her to be forward facing, and I really just tried to talk her through that and said, "What is the anxiety that you feel? Where is that coming from?" And she said, "It's really not the fear of failure, it's the fear of being seen, of getting out there." And
Mm.
it really struck me that although she is, somebody who leads a team, who is accomplished, who can put other people's ads and
Mm.
things out all day long, that as she is looking at getting ready for this launch in January, anxiety immediately hits when she realizes it's
Mm.
her being, out there. And so I think that although that is certainly true for trauma, and people
Mm.
who have been in those situations, it's also true of just anybody who has to sort of get out there and put yourself out there and say, I have a stance about how it best to run ads. I have a stance about anything in life, and
Mm.
to say that, no, I'm not the conduit of knowledge sharing someone else's view. I'm sharing my own. And I think that regardless of what the background is, whether it is trauma and you have this learned behavior to stay small and stay quiet and to hide, or if it is, sometimes the best place to hide is the least place that you'd expect it, which is what happened with me. an accomplished writer by all accounts as a
Mm.
ghostwriter and a copywriter, but that was my form of staying hidden, um, in the business
Mm.
world. And the same for her, she is an accomplished CEO and that's her form of staying hidden. And so to
Yep.
really just look at yourself and your situation and say, am I using this as a shield or am I using it as a service? And it changes the way that you show up in the world.
Very truly said. Very truly said. Yep. So, like, how do you now? I mean, if I have to say, like, right now, if there is a moment in your own healing, like where you realize that hiding was not a kind of humility, but it was the self protection disguised as professionalism.
Yeah, the moment that happened was over the course of it was those micro moments over the course of about the last 18 months really, where
Yeah.
suddenly it became apparent to me what I was doing and what was happening and how I wanted to shift. And
Hmm.
the reason that happened was I started coaching through another company, through a SaaS company, their creators on their messaging. And this was global, is global. So I'm talking to people all over the world with all different industries, all different backgrounds. And my job is with them coaching their content and their messaging to really find their voice and how to connect with people. And I kept
Hmm.
seeing this through line of when I could start to see them hiding, I realized it in myself. It was that kind of
Yeah.
mirror neuron type of a thing where
Hmm.
when I saw it over and over and over and over again, I started realizing this is a pattern that I have as well that
Yep.
and then it really weighed on me that I can't coach them through this if I don't take those steps myself. And so you know, about a year ago, I think it was
Hmm.
January, December, January, I got back on socials, as myself, got back on producing content and, sharing my story, and it's just been a journey of doing it as you can. I don't think, and I'm sure that you would agree that healing is not a process of force. You can't
Yep.
you can't force yourself to that end result. You have to really listen to your body, to what's going on. And so if it doesn't if it doesn't feel right, sometimes that's legitimate. It's legitimate to not publish that piece of content or connect in that way. And sometimes it is the difference between I'm going to safely push myself towards a new way of being, a new way of thinking of it, a new way of showing up for the purpose of healing. And so walking that out slowly for yourself is completely acceptable. But yeah, that moment happened over time through seeing it and then realizing this is something that I need to work on myself
Right.
as well.
Exactly. Exactly. True. And uh, like I was about to ask here one thing that um like what to say the distinction is definitely everything, right? But I think uh so many people listening right now might be recognizing that their business block is not a kind of strategy issue, and it's a nervous system response. What do you think?
Yes, I think that that is so true. You can take there are 100 one of my favorite I think my
Yeah.
mantra, my life mantra right now is there's more than one way up the mountain. And,
Okay.
that is that applies to so many things universally, but here you could have 100 different strategies that
Mm.
are proven and may work perfectly fine, may work well for one person and for whatever reason is not working for you.
Yeah.
But if you don't get this part right, then it really doesn't matter how many strategies and methods and frameworks and templates you use, you've really gotta come back. That's what I've
Yeah,
found and, am really focused on in this season of life right now is coming back to the basics.
exactly.
I teach something through the connect method that the very first part of connecting with others is recognition in both yourself and their journey. And it's something that we miss
Mhm.
altogether because we're focused on, I think I need a new strategy. I think I need a, new headline and things. And it's really
Yeah,
coming back to that center and starting from there. Everything else will work better once you get this figured out.
exactly. I totally agree. Yep. Ooh, and like, how do you now help your clients recognize that their story is not um something to hide behind, like, but something to build from?
Yeah. So a lot of it is I sign off all of my emails with the words with you because
Mhm.
a lot of it is we are this is something that we are doing together. There is
Yeah.
it is not something that somebody has just said, download this template, throw it out there, and you're going to have 6 figures in 6 month business kind of a thing.
Mm,
We are looking layer by layer by layer and
yeah.
really working through that together, saying, okay, now let's look at part of my training. I'm certified in Wicklander Zulawski certified interrogation techniques, and a lot of that is unlayering through questions, what is really beneath either what you're trying to say or how you're feeling about it. There's a lot of different reasons why we produce the content that we're producing, and in the end, conversion is the goal for what I do. I'm in marketing and conversion is the goal. And that is both monetary, but also impact driven. The people that I work with
Yeah.
want people to convert because they have something that they feel will make their life better. And so we want to get really, really, really good at connecting with them up front. And a lot of that is just me asking questions with them through live group coaching or through content,
Mhm.
and just saying, okay, let's take this and let's break it down. Let's go 3 layers deeper. And by the time we go those 3 layers deeper, we have found oftentimes whatever their fear or why they're stuck and why it didn't convert in the first place, and then how to shift that. So a lot of it is just asking questions and continuing to dig layers in, which is something culturally we're not very good at, and especially in marketing we're not very good at because we want, let's just tell me what email sequence I need to send out in order for this launch to work well, and it's like uh, we can do that and we will do that, but
Mhm.
first let's really dive into some of these questions and find out, who you're talking to, why they are opening the email, what you are trying to say, and so many of the other things.
Interesting. Lovely. Yeah. And uh, I mean, yes, definitely. It's really profound because turning your pain into a purpose, um, I mean, purpose-driven process for the others. It's like an alchemy for the soul, and what you're doing is not just kind of messaging strategy. It's all the emotional liberation through the language. So amazing, yeah. And so, like, you also help others find the message their audience needs to hear. But I'm curious, like, what's the message like your own heart needed to hear to finally feel safe being seen? What do you say?
Yeah, and I think, I would assume that my answer 5 years from now will be different than my answer today because
Yeah.
I feel like it is,
Mm.
I'm still on that journey of healing and
Yeah.
accepting being seen and owning that space. So today, my answer is, I needed to hear that I have value. I think that it came down to my personhood, who I am, is a valuable being in the world,
Mm,
and it's not that I have value because A, B, C, and D. It is I have value, period. And when you start to own that
mm,
you are valuable because you are you, then you start to feel safer in presenting that value to other
mm,
people. And that's how we connect with people. So I think that was a really difficult lesson, and something that I'm still journeying, on. But yeah, as we speak today, I would say knowing that my value is intrinsic and not extrinsic to what I am accomplishing, who I am writing for, what I am doing, what I am saying.
true. Exactly. So, um, I mean, and obviously, for someone who is listening right now, maybe they have been hiding, maybe they have lost their faith in their own words. What's the one thing you would want them to remember as they take their first step towards visibility?
I would want them to remember it will not be comfortable, but we can do hard things. And that is okay. Because
Right.
if we are waiting for it to feel
Mhm.
comfortable, it will just never happen. But if we acknowledge the discomfort of healing and we know that the hard thing is purposeful towards that, then we can start to make those steps.
That's quite amazing. That's quite amazing. Like I think that that makes your story so magnetic, and is that it's not about being fearless, but it's all about being real. And in that honesty, you you have not only reclaimed your voice, but given others permission to find theirs too as well. So, uh, what a deeply and resonant conversation, Rachel. I mean, your journey reminds us that healing and visibility are not linear thing. They are layered, brave, and beautifully human, right?
Yes.
so so for everyone who is listening, like I mean, you have ever felt if you have ever felt invisible, please know this, that your voice matters, your story has the power, and the world is waiting for your words, not a kind of perfect version of you, but the real one, who you are, right? So you can connect with Rachel through her website and the social media platform. So I'll quickly ask Rachel, if someone wants to connect with you, what will be the great medium?
Sure. So I am most often on
Mhm.
LinkedIn. I am scattered on the others a little bit, but
Okay.
on LinkedIn, if you would like to connect with me on social, I have a, Human First Messaging Lab newsletter that goes out regularly there, and I'm on the platform regularly. And then certainly have different opportunities to work together to dig up that voice and dig up that messaging. But yeah, on social, you can certainly find me there, and my website is by rachealblackmore.com. However, you'll probably want to find the link on this, episode because my name is spelled in a very odd way. So it will probably appear as a typo if you try to type it into the search bar.
Lovely, lovely, amazing. And so, dear listeners, what I'll do is I'll put all the links into the show notes for your easy reference. And with this hope, until next time, stay visible, stay brave, and remember that healing begins when you choose to be heard. So, thank you so much.
Thank you.